You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Trump's Rudd just got yanked, and he's going down. Report based on an article by Adam Lynch. The so-called non-voter mystique is just rejection politics, not a mystery or reaction. Hugh's new NPORS data points in a clear direction. Young people are drifting back toward Democrats, and low-turnout voters are no longer sitting in the same pro-Trump posture they showed in 2024. That is the context. The real story is not some spiritual reawakening in the electorate. It is that a bloc of people who stayed out of the last election was reacting to incumbency, inflation, and the aftershocks of COVID, then moved again when the political weather changed. Who holds power? Actual institutional power sits with Republicans, with Trump at the center of it. That matters because the source article treats non-voters as if they are the active force shaping events, when in reality they are the audience responding to what powerful actors do to the economy, public life, and the state. Low-propensity voters do not govern. They register approval or disgust after the damage is already underway. The wrong story about young voters. The article takes a swing at the common Washington fantasy that young Americans are a naturally Republican-leaning bloc that somehow shocked everyone in 2024. That framing was always lazy. The better explanation, which the source itself gestures toward, is anti-incumbency. People moved against Biden because they felt the pressure of prices and the lingering instability of the pandemic era. Then they moved away again. That is not ideological conversion. It is political punishment. Misreading the blame. There is a familiar misdirection here. Strategists and commentators keep describing the electorate as cryptic, fickle, or invisible, which conveniently blurs responsibility. But the movement in these numbers is not confusion. It is a response to material conditions and to the people who failed to meet them. When elites talk as though voters mysteriously swung on their own, they erase the decisions that produced the swing in the first place. What the data is actually saying. The meaningful fact in the Pew data is not a neat partisan triumph line. It is that Democrats have regained ground among low-turnout voters, and that partisan ID among adults now shows Democrats at 47%, Republicans at 43%. That does not mean the country has been redeemed. It means the Republican project is losing some of the temporary volatility it benefited from when anger had nowhere better to go. Trump's coalition has not become durable. It has become exposed. The systemic lesson. This is the recurring pattern in American politics. The right turns outrage into power, then acts surprise when people recoil from the consequences. The press keeps translating that recoil into personality-driven drama as if the electorate were an unpredictable weather system. It is not. It is a pressure gauge. When public life is made worse by deliberate political choices, people who do vote eventually register the damage, and people who usually do not vote can still move hard when the alternatives become legible. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Labritz R. Thanks for listening.